Gautano akazoom meeting. Abuba. For 30 minutes. As you Daniel's number, Bakuru Mpaji of UND.
Yes, Mr. Chimera. Yes, Mr. Chimera.
Daniel's number.
Not yet.
To tell him that we have
Hello, you're welcome, everyone. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, how are
We
you?
experienced Fine, thank you. We are expressing network challenges here in Kasese.
Not Kasesa alone. I think I also have the same problem here where I am.
Okay.
But here it is clear.
Okay. Mr. Chimera is traveling. He's supposed to come and give us some opening remarks as we wait on our guest. But I think he's also experiencing network problem because he's that side of Kasese.
Patience.
Yes, Kechar,
At the yes, please.
are you still driving?
Yes, I am. But I'm going to be online once we are set to go. Okay, we are 27.
Yeah, has our guest confirmed?
Yes. Few minutes. Has Ronette sent the registration form?
Sure.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Whom are you waiting for?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Whom are you waiting for?
You,
No?
I think you're supposed to have a presentation today. We're waiting for you, Mr. Daniel.
I'm here.
Hey, okay. Mr. Chimere is on the road, so his network is kind of poor. So you can please take the floor because we've been waiting for you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're most
So we can start. I'll need sharing rights. I'll need to use the screen.
Mr. Chimera, can you please make Mr. Bakulu Mpaji access to the host tray so that he can share the screen?
Yes. Let me do that right away.
Okay, please.
It's not working out. How to go about it. Let me see how to go about it.
Yes, David, we are here, but today it's kind of everyone is having a network problem, but we are here, please. You can join the team.
I don't know why it is failing me. Ash,
Yes, please, KHR.
the system is failing me. I'm connected.
Hello, Mr. Daniel. We are trying to.
Yes, I'm
We
here.
are trying to. Yeah, we are trying to see how we can give you the co-host right. But if there is something you can be talking to the media, please you can go ahead and you introduce the topic to the media as we look for the way we can connect you,
Okay, no worries.
please. You're welcome, everyone. We are going to start shortly. Mr. Bakulu Mpaji. Mr. Bakulu Mpaji, you have full access. Please, you can go ahead and try to see whether you can
It's what I'm
share
trying
your
to.
screen.
It's what I'm trying to do. But
Okay,
just give me
please.
like a minute.
Okay, please.
Thank you.
And colleagues, about the registration link, we are going to share it shortly and it will be at the end. We've had a problem with the internet connection today, but we're working on the link, which is going to be shared shortly in the chat. So please don't forget to register. As usual, you know what comes with registration. If you miss out on that,
Well, members, guess I'm audible enough, right? Hello? Hello? Hello?
You're loud and clear.
Wow, good.
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Thank you. Members, my name is Daniel Makulumpaji, and I work with the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. Today, we're here to address some of the challenges that are faced by the everyday consumer using standards. And the question, we were approached by Consent Uganda to come and make a presentation to you as the media, such that through you, we can have some of the challenges that have been presented by the consumers, addressed. Daniel Bakurumpaji is my name, and I work with the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, and I manage the technical committee that develops standards for financial and insurance services at the UNBS. Briefly about the UNBS. UNBS is a statutory body under the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and established by the UNBS Act of CAP 210, and it became operational in 1989. The mandate of UNBS, one is formulation and promotion of standards and their use. Secondly, enforcing standards in protection of public health and safety and the environment against dangerous and substandard products. The third would be ensuring fairness in trade and precision in industry through reliable measurements and strengthening the economy of Uganda by assuring the quality of locally manufactured goods to enable the competitiveness of exports in regional and international markets. And I told you about the UNBS Technical Committee on Financial and Insurance Services. At UNBS, it is coded as 404. And the scope of work that we do is standardization in the field of banking, securities, insurance, and other financial services. And I believe we have all at one time been customers to these services, that is banking, insurance, securities, and so many others. So we develop standards in that committee. We develop standards to handle, rather, for all those areas. Then, briefly, if we are to talk about standards are what we call the minimum requirements for anything to be done. If I may give you an example of the car, we have what we call a standard for cars. So the minimum requirement would be for a car, say it would be, for example, a chassis, tires, lights, and all. But the moment you meet those requirements, the rest is upon you. You can choose to build up on those requirements, as in to make additions, so that you modify the product as and you wish. That's why we have a Toyota making a basic car for an everyday person. And the very same Toyota can also make those high-end luxury cars, just like Mercedes-Benz does. So meaning there are minimum requirements for each and everything that we do. So what we do here at the UNBS is develop those standards. You should note that the work that we do as the UNBS is not in isolation. It's not, we don't do it here as only UNBS, but we do it just like other countries do. So there is an organization called ISO that brings all international, rather national standards bodies together to form the International Standards Organization. And Uganda is a member of the ISO. Secondly, we are also members of the World Trade Organization, meaning whatever we do here, be it trade in goods and services, all these affect international trade. So we don't trade in isolation. That's why there is importation of goods and services. We do import and export. And you realize that under the World Trade Organization, we have to notify whatever we do as Uganda. And the only notification body through which the WTO can get to know about what Uganda has in place is through the UNBS. And what does that mean? I believe you've all heard of non-technical barriers and technical barriers to trade. And what we mean by those technical barriers to trade, those are barriers that can either impede trade in either goods or services. So if, say, Uganda comes up with a stringent measure that maybe no foreign national should open up a bank in Uganda, that alone, as long as it becomes a regulation, through the UNBS, we have to notify our trading partners such that they don't find themselves in a situation whereby they cannot. So this is someone has come here and they've opened up a bank, and tomorrow their money is taken or something happens to them. So we are obliged to inform as and when we come up with any regulation affecting trade. And like I told you, at international level, all Bureau of Standards, say Bureau of Kenya Bureau of Standards, Uganda Bureau of Standards, Switzerland, USA, all these have what we would call maybe an association where they all meet and discuss what we would call international best practice, that is experience. And this, rather, what we discuss is from experience. And the fact that we are not all at the same development level, Uganda being a third world, and we have countries like the US that are in the first world, that gives us an opportunity to sit together as all countries, so that we come up with common solutions to all. That's why we have a practice at the UNBS called adoption of standards. And there is what we call adaptation of standards, and say another called development of standards from their original and from scratch, if I would call it that. What we call adoption of standards is what is discussed at the ISO, that is International Standards Organization. Say if we discuss at that level how to curb fraud in, say, the banking industry, and Uganda's voice has been captured there. That what we have discussed at that level is directly adopted here for national application. That way, we would advise the banking industry to take on that standard so that it can be able to guard against fraud in that industry. However, you find that this adaptation is not mandatory unless if the regulator, that is Bank of Uganda, chooses to enforce that regulation. And the moment it enforces, and we've done the notification everywhere, whoever comes to do business here has to abide by that. The other form of I talked of adoption standards. I'm also going to talk about adaptation of standards, meaning if at one point we find that a standard that is at international level does not rhyme with the local practices here. Say, for example, you realize that mobile money, some of these mobile money and other digital financial services are new to Uganda. And if there are standards at the international level and we find that they are not that easily applied here, say, for example, you've heard of financial inclusion, and this has been done mainly through phones. You find that so many people in the villages don't have these phones. However, that does not stop us from also helping those, or rather, adapting the standard to suit that kind of environment, the kind of environment where there are those inaccessible areas. So a standard in such a situation, such a form can be adapted to suit our environment. And another case is developing a standard from scratch. Say, for example, if you looked at the Emyoga kind of setting, this parish model those kind of services, you find that they might be unique to Uganda and they're not done elsewhere. Such programs can be developed standards. We can develop standards to suit their those programs. So those are the three ways of developing standards. That is adoption, adaptation, and developing standards from scratch. Members, you should note that these standards at ISO that are developed, all the member countries do sit, collect ideas, come up with a document kind of form with the actual experiences from the different countries. And if all countries are in agreement that this is the way to go, that's what we do here. And at ISO, we have a committee called ISO Technical Committee 68. This committee handles standards on financial and insurance services. So in Uganda, UNB's TC 404 on financial and insurance services is the national mirror committee for the other one at ISO, meaning if the standard there's a standard being discussed at that level, we do discuss it just like they are doing up there. And the reason is for us to collect a national position regarding these standards. So now, briefly, the standards that are developed in ISO TC 68, mirrored by UNBS TC 404, are standards on banking, that is retail, commercial, and wholesale. We discuss standards on depository and financial transaction-based services. We also discuss standards for consumer credit products and services. We also discuss standards or develop standards on securities and other financial instruments, and also standards for protection and development of security tools for transacting financial services business. So members, this is to show you that what we are doing here as Uganda is not unique. And I believe you've all come across, you've heard of the word SWIFT. SWIFT, is it? Or as you're trying to send money between banks, between banks, say you want to send money from Post Bank Uganda to a bank in the Netherlands. So that the SWIFT kind of environment, it's an association of banks that such that money can be, rather there is a language of communication of transactions. So such that you can be able to do business anywhere. You cannot say that you have your money here, you want to buy something in China, you have to move there physically. You can just do that through the bank. So that's why we have these technical committees to discuss such standards. And I want you to note that the standards we develop here are also, they are of two types. There are those that we call standards for compulsory application or mandatory, and those that are voluntary. Those that are for compulsory application, you should note that these have the backing of the law. That say Bank of Uganda is going to enforce their application, and they have the mechanism and the budget to run to make sure that whoever defaults is either fined or anything else or penalized. And there are those that are not for compulsory application; those are voluntary. So at the UNBS, we develop standards with mirroring those that are developed at ISO. But now it's upon the regulator, that is Bank of Uganda, Microfinance Regulatory Authority, and so many others. Those are the ones to enforce. If they wish to have the standards made compulsory, we have them, they come to us, and through our institution here, our structures, we make the standard compulsory. And that is, how do we do that? We first of all, at the UNBS, we bring together the committee. This UNBS 2404 is a committee that has bring together members of the academia, industry, NGOs, government. It brings members from the industry and consumers, everyday people, to sit and discuss and agree that this standard needs to be developed, and this is the way to go. So the moment we agree, then we get backing from the regulator that say we need this standard to be developed, to be applied in Uganda. What we do, that notification, that letter is given to, I'd say the governor writes to the National Standards Council that they need this standard to be made compulsory. Thereafter, the council can approve, the National Standards Council approves, and this goes to the Minister of Trade. The minister also endorses, and this becomes, it's gazetted, and thereafter it becomes part of the standards for compulsory application in Uganda. That way, the moment it becomes compulsory, we have now to notify other trading partners through the World Trade Organization that this is a requirement in Uganda going forward, such that whoever comes here to do business in that kind of business knows that these standards, this is what is required of them. It's more like a law for a layman's language. Members, you'll allow me pause this and post something else. I will continue with this slide later. Members, you have all come across this. You have all come across this slide earlier. When on Friday, this slide was presented by Mr. Wambale. Now the consumer, that is Consent Uganda, the consumer representative here in Uganda so far, one of the NGOs that I know that came to us, they approached me as the technical manager of that committee with these challenges. There's challenges in digital finance. One was scams targeting mobile money users, that is fraud. Challenges in poor network in some areas. Then poor customer care service, for example, long queues, inactive tellers in banks, then unauthorized transactions on accounts, poor customer care services, especially on complaint calls, then failed transactions, limited information on banking terms, leading to unexpected charges on both banks and mobile wallet, account hacking, inability to access mobile money or ATMs during critical times, bureaucracy in trying to get redress. There are quite a number. And there are others who are to do with the high interest rates, bad attitude of people working in the bank, for example, secondary bank, delays in making cash reversals, delays in picking calls, fraud, and so many others. So they wanted us as the UNBS to they wanted to find out whether we have solutions that can help address some of these. Members, you should note that at the UNBS, we don't have all the solutions. But like I said, we have what we call international best practice. And with international best practice, the best you can do is have it adopted for national application. And the onus is upon the regulator to commit time, and resources to address those challenges while using the standards. Now, with the foregoing slides that I've showed you, that is on interest rates, bad attitude of people working in the banks, delays in making cash calls. As UNDS, this is what we identified as the relevant international standards. Note that some of them have been already adopted as Uganda standards. Remember, I talked about adoption. In this case, we get standards from the way they are, from what we have discussed at ISO, that is under TC 68, and just adopt them here for national application. However, to make them compulsory, the regulator has to do that. Now, these challenges are both ways. There are those that are affecting the consumer, and there are those that are affecting the industry. Say, for example, the challenge on data security. The standards we identified are ISO 27001, ISO 13. In this, you look at the first column will show us the kind of challenges that we have. Say data security. Data security is now a problem faced by, it is a problem faced both ways. One, by the banking industry or financial institution, and also you as the consumer. However, these standards that are proposed here will help and address issues of information security, key management. There's a complaint that has, I think, there was unauthorized transactions done on someone's account. One Diana that was trending on Twitter. I happened to see it, and Centenary Bank responded in the sense saying that the customer is not social engineered, meaning she didn't have enough knowledge on how to protect her data, things to do like with the pins and all that. However, so they could not pay her. So these standards here on data security that I propose here to address the challenge of data security will handle issues of information security, key management, key cryptographic devices, legal entity identification. So members, just know that the standards are available, and now it is upon you as or rather not upon you, we are calling upon you, the media, to spread the word amongst the consumers and the financial service providers to come to the UNBS, buy these standards, read them. If we can even take them through training on how to interpret these standards and how to use them. We also there was a challenge on customer identification and verification. We have standards on legal entity identifiers. Say these will help us in our customer identification guidelines and legal entity identification that indeed the transaction was done through this particular bank. And we also have legal persons, legal persons identifiers, meaning we can know who exactly did this and that on a particular transaction. If we had these standards in place, then those standards to do with mobile money security, well, the ones in this column, that's this row, that is will address standard issues of PIN management, code scanning, customer identification, and mobile financial services security. Then we have the challenges of third-party payments services. We had a challenge on public key infrastructure. And we also had a challenge on biometrics. We had a challenge on code scanning payment security. All these, we have standards that can help address them. I don't know if it's visible enough, but I think I should enlarge. Sorry. We have standards on, one that really interested me is this one on bad attitude of bank staff. We have a standard on customer care satisfaction. It will help on effective communication and complaint management. if all the banks had this standard in place, we wouldn't have such things, such um, uh, issues of bad attitude of bank staff. We also have a standard on privacy impact assessment. We have standards on that can handle issues of what do we call it? Personal financial advisors. Those are you've had people come to you, those who are selling loans from banks. They come to you, they all convince you to open up a bank account. Those are personal financial advisors. We also have people, these brokers, selling you all sorts of products, the financial products. Say, we also have these insurance brokers selling you all kinds of insurance, and you basically, as you don't know what to do with what until that time when they still maybe say your premiums, you pay them, give them the money, they don't deliver it to the insurance companies. You thought you were insured, you get a problem, and the insurance company knows nothing about it. However, you thought you had cover. So such issues of unprofessionalism, we have standards to guide them. Then we also have standards to handle delays in cash reversals. This is ISO 1002. It helps in, if the banks took them on, it will help them in efficient transactions and clear communications. Then still the standard on the challenge on delays in picking calls. This is all customer care. We have these standards in place. And lastly, I want to mention that we have quite a number of laws in place that can benefit from these standards. You've heard of let me stop sharing. There's something I need to post. We have we have the Data Protection and Privacy Act. We have the Computer Misuse Act. We have these ones are meant to address data security and information security. Now, these standards here, rather these laws can benefit from the standards that I showed you on data security. We have laws on Anti-Money Laundering and Financial Institutions Act. Those can also benefit from customer identification and verification because you are aware that money laundering is a very big problem in the country, or rather internationally. So if we had these standards in place, they would help us fall in line with what is required at the international level. Then we have, remember the standards on mobile money security. If the regulators like Uganda Communications Commission took on some of these standards, they wouldn't have not so many people complaining, because you are aware there was a separation between mobile money and the communication aspect, meaning Airtel, Uganda, it might have two arms, but one dealing in strictly communication and the other on mobile money services. Then the one on third-party payments, the standards on rather the legal regime that these standards can address, the National Payments Act and the Financial Institutions Payment System Regulations Act. Then for public key and biometrics, we have the Electronic Signatures Act and the NIRA, that is the National Identity and Registration Act. So meaning, if the standards in this area are taken on, they can help these institutions solve some of these problems. And lastly, you've heard of the Consumer Protection Act of 2013 and the Fair Competition Act. These can be beefed up by most of the standards we have here. So with that, members, I beg to submit briefly, that is it that the Bureau does, and these are the standards we have in place. We invite you to the UNBS, in particular our Committee on Financial and Insurance Services, so that we can have a better understanding of what we mean by these standards and how best they can help and solve the challenges of the everyday person. With that, thank you so much, Henry, and thank you, Asha, Tabade, Consent Uganda, Consumer International. We have no words besides to say thank you, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Bakulumpaji. That was a very insightful presentation. And I guess most of us here didn't know that we all have these standards in place. We've been working under when we didn't know that we all have these standards in place. So thank you so much. I know journalists out there are going to have questions for you. So before you go, I don't know how much time you have for us, but before, let me ask if there is someone who has a question for Mr. Bakulumpaji in regards to what he has presented on standards. In the meantime, there are some concerns in the chat here. Someone said we should have a WhatsApp group. We do have a WhatsApp group where we share this information. And I understand Mr. Bakulumpaji is going to share this presentation, and I'll be able to share it with on our WhatsApp groups, different WhatsApp groups or emails. So is there anyone who has a question for Mr. Bakulumpaji? I saw Job, I saw your hand up.
Arsha, can you allow me before I go off?
Yes, please, Mr. Chimera, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel. That was quite a rich presentation. And our colleagues, like the question is, can the standards provide us safe and fair and even enhanced consumer protection? With the presentation of Daniel, it has shown us that the standards are in place.
Yeah.
But the question I would ask to us, and I will also ask Daniel, but why it is failing us, or why aren't the standards protecting us from the vagaries, from the unscrupulous, from the deep fakes? I know the National Bureau of Standards is not the implementer of these standards, but it is the facilitator for the development of national standards. Now the question would be, what do we need to do to protect consumers, to enhance consumer protection? So I would like to once again to thank you, Daniel. But those are questions for us all and for us to see how best we forge ahead and enhance consumer protection. So I would like to thank you all, the media, you need to go to Bank of Uganda and ask, now that we know they are financial sector standards, there are standards specifically for digital, why are the vagaries of duping consumers continuously going on? So thank you very much, and I'll keep on listening in. All the best. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing the reports in the media about the financial sector standards. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There's a hand from Swipe.
Yes, Swipe, go ahead. Swipe.
I think he's
Mr. Consent behind this. Am I louder? Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
please. We are
Can I
hearing
be heard?
you. Yes, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Consent and Daniel, for the wonderful presentation. But my request to Daniel and the UNBS is that these standards, you find that they've been a little bit surprised to some of us, the fact that they are hidden. So my request is UNBS, in line with financial institutions, they should really talk to these financial institutions that's for the consumer's space, but they're not put where consumers can know them unless until someone gets into a trap or someone gets the challenge that when a financial institution comes in the line to defend themselves, that we have these standards in place, and they try to run away from maybe a case if at all it's on a client. So we request that let financial institutions exhibit these things. Let them also go ahead to engage consumers by having meetings, because we know that some of these things that they're there, but most of our clients, we have people in business, but they're not elite. They may not read, they may not be in position to read the English and so on, which is exhibited sometimes in the those financial institutions. So we request that if there is an opportunity, they bring in, if for instance, for us decide to understand rumors, they understand well the standards, so that they will be in position to say way of running away from such challenges they always get to face. The fact that that will give them a chance to understand them well, than whereby they are there, but some institutions hide them, and those who exhibit them, they put them in English, which some people might not be in position to capture the knowledge. But otherwise, we thank you for this, and we're looking forward that we can find a way of putting this to our masses, the fact that we are there to bridge the gap between the mass and the public. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swipe, for that submission. Mr. Bakulumpaji, are you still on?
I'm here.
Yeah, there was a question posed to you that can the standards provide us with safe? Is that Mr. Chimera?
Oh.
Yes, Mr. Chimera posed to you earlier on.
Yes.
Yes, we do have them, but have they protected us as consumers?
Thank you, Asha.
Yes, please.
These standards, like I said, they are international best practice. It is what has been tried and tested elsewhere. And we find that if we applied these standards here, we cannot say they can apply, they in their situation, in their capacity as standards can protect you, the consumer. No. Only if they are backed by law. meaning with the existing laws in place, with the existing laws in place, and the institutions that that are mandated to enforce these laws, they can ably protect the consumer, meaning the beauty, the advantage we are at now in Uganda is we have the laws. Now, all the laws have to do is add on work together with the standards that work together with those standards, say that they can be able to enforce, to ably enforce. Say, for example, we have the Data Protection and Privacy Act. With that in place, we have standards. I told you we have standards on. I told you we have standards. Where is it? We have standards on data security. And with data security, we mean information security, key management, cryptographic devices, legal identification. So these standards will help the Data Protection Office move away from just the talk and actually do what is done elsewhere. That these standards, these ISO standards, have been tried and tested elsewhere. So with that in place, they'll be able to achieve what the act was set out to do. And that way, you as the consumer shall be able to make these institutions accountable by one, because if these standards are made compulsory, or rather for compulsory application, that all banks, all mobile money transaction, maybe say providers, have these standards in place, you will be able to stand by them together with the law, so that you can put to task these institutions to abide. There is no way your data, your personal information, say your bank accounts, your PIN code, all that information about you should end up in the public when we have these. So these standards are meant to help the regulator and also you as the consumer. So members, ideally it's a two-way street. The standards are in place to help the act and to help you. And in the end, the one who is benefiting is both you, the consumer, and the financial institution, and the enforcer is the government. Thank you. And lastly, there are things that might don't need to be backed by the law, like say bad attitude of these bank tellers. These are just bad manners. All we need to do is ask the actual banks to actually take on this, to apply the standard, rather to train their staff on customer satisfaction. That is it. Maybe we're talking about the small banks, the microfinance banks, the SACCOs and all. But if you're talking about the big banks, I believe they should be having this standard. But if they don't have it, it's good for them. This one does not take the law to back it up. No. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Wakurumpaji, for that. Yeah, true. This is because when you look at these standards, it's really, I don't know, do we need to, does UNBS has any way of enforcing this? I don't know, but this is a responsibility of the banks. If banks have these standards, it's a mandate to take through their staffs in all these standards. It's really bad manners according to our, when I look at the complaints, consumer complaints that we collect, surely I don't see why we still have complaints on customer care if banks are to follow these standards, surely. So I think this is upon us, the media. What are we going to do? Do we need to create awareness on this? We should not actually ask ourselves whether we do or we do not. This is our responsibility. After seeing all this, we need to really come up with articles, we make noise, at least even those banks which think that there are no standards on this or they've kept them in the drawers, it's time to really follow what they're supposed to do so that we can help the consumers out there. So thank you so much, Mr. Daniel.
I'm thinking
Mm.
we can, if it's possible, we can do excerpts on the different standards,
Yes.
so that we can distribute them, so that we get to know, they get to know what the standards are all about, actually simplify it for the everyday person. And also, kind of like if someone could write an article on bridging the gap between using standards to bridge the gap between the existing legal regime, and the standards for the benefit of the consumer.
Okay. That's a very good idea.
Thank you.
So Bob, I'm seeing your hand up. There's a concern here in the chat to you, Mr. Bakulumpaji. That thanks so much for the presentation. I have one concern. 2 years ago in West Nile, there was warrage manufactured by a certain company, and that's the name. He has forgotten the name. Didn't kill some consumers, and others were rushed to hospital. And many industries producing these warages. There are many industries producing. It's killing the consumers. It's killing the consumers and the young ones. His question is, how does UNB certify this kind of alcohol that kill its own citizen? Why is the government giving too much priority and power to Indians to produce this type of alcohol when it's killing consumers who will work for this nation when they are killed prematurely?
Thank you, Asha, and thank you, David
Nyanzo.
Anzo. Yes. I would love to answer this at this moment in time, because the subject that brought us here is to do with financial services strictly. So this we can address at another forum. The good thing is has a component on food security. Yes. This will they provide time for now we are interested in the services. Thank you.
I get that. Thank you so much, Daniel. Is anyone there with a concern?
I want to hear people talk about the challenges Austin provided us with. Do you feel that all the challenges have been Remember, I said standards in isolation cannot solve these problems. There must be legal backing. So far in Uganda, we have the NERA Act, that is the Registration Act. We have the Data Protection Act. So many. So these standards are coming in to help, rather to back the legal regime in place, such that the personnel working in those institutions can be able to ably do their work. Thank you. Wait, are we together?
Yes, we are on.
I need to hear or ask questions. Challenges you have faced.
Hello, can we experiences? Let me hope we are not on the chat together.
There are very many people, and they are providing only one job to attend all of them. And others seem not to be bothered. I find this unusual because such institutions, they expect to have customer care. So having gotten this knowledge, I make noise about this and ensure that somebody must sleep at their job, that get to something, ensure that people get quality services. Also, the other experience recently, somebody was broke 900,000 mobile money. For Airtel, I think we need also find something that good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Richard. And there are very many people, but only one tailor is available, and the others seem not to be unbothered. Yes. For now, to make sure that they make some noise to ensure that somebody doesn't sleep on their job. The experience recently, one was man operator was robbed of 900,000 shillings and yen. For the case of Airtel, initiate yourself, and then the other person asks for the code. It is the of the standard. We'll make sure that we make some noise, create awareness to our listeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's one reason why we hold such informative to enable us to do. We have to be the voice of the info, such important information that can benefit everyone. So please, let's use it right and do inform people out there. The people to talk to are here. So this is what we want. We should not stop at listening in. We should go back and write. We talk about every after presentation. Thank you so much. Anyone, please? Let's not waste our time, so that let's use Mr. Bakulumpaji's time. We ask him everything that you want so that he can answer. For you, Mr. Bakulumpaji, where does betting companies get our contacts from to send us promo adverts?
Now, with the betting companies getting the information, that's already a breach of the Data Protection and Security Act, Privacy Act. So I'm thinking the best way you can do is, first of all, there's somewhere I read in the act that you supposed the betting companies are supposed to register with them. They are taught on how to handle people's data. And in case there is abuse, I think they can hold them accountable. So with that, if you have a case, you can interest yourself in the works of the that you can be assisted. But still, like I said, that might be data, that might be betting companies. But there are so many companies, even your health service providers, without information uh, you would have wanted everybody to get to know about. However, if they have these standards in place, it will actually go a long way in reducing some of these scams that are going around. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bakulumpaji. Is there any plan with the UNBS of creating awareness across the country? Is there any plan
Thank
or
you,
program?
Asha. Thank you, Asha. Now that Consumer Consent Uganda has provided a platform, we are now reaching out. This is one of the strategies we have deployed. Thank you so much. By the way, Mr. Henry is part of this committee that handles standards and finance. Thank you.
Thank you. Then there is something that has been quite a number of we register when we go to mobile money. Our name, telephone number, and you have to register. You're registering for a passport or a national ID or something. But where does that? Is there any standard that protects our like that is used by service providers? Because I don't know where they dispose of the books after they're using them. I don't know whether there is any that data, the disposal of our information after feeding into them.
The National Data Protection and Privacy Act still addresses that. All that the Data Protection Office has to do is work with the standards that we have developed here to help them and solve such a problem. That you as the end user who has given them the data is not affected. I believe it's just a matter of awareness, training, Yeah. And through such platforms like provided, there's a lot we can do for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And there is a question here in the chat: who gives mandate to the money lending companies? After picking loans from them, they will keep your ATM card and withdraw money every month. Oh, this is strange.
Look at the acts that have been citing the National Data Protection Act and also the Financial Institutions Act. Kindly get in touch with such a problem. I believe there was an announcement, a public warning all over that
Not to give in our IDs as Kurato. We've lost you.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
Question. The challenge here is Wamba. They have concerns with you. Anything in the line of standards? Another warning. Then there is a concern here still on here from Businje Bernadette. Is there any measure of control of the mobile money agents? Because currently most fraudulent okay, fraudulent activities are done using mobile money. How do these thieves get our contact numbers? Members, these are rather, these are breaching the act, not even breaching the act. These are contrary to the act. I think if only we can discuss, we can have dialogue with the Data Protection Office. I believe there is a lot we can achieve. We're going to handle that. We're going to have great dialogue with them so that they also get to know that this is happening, and we have solutions for them they can work with. And also you, the media, you're going to write articles around this subject. Thank you.
Yeah, that is really true. If they come out and write, they will definitely have responses from them, which will trigger more and more issues.
Yeah, what measures have been put across by the digital banking relationship? Unlimited service. Now, back to my document. Is anyone writing in it?
It has to be at your end.
Anyway, that. Um, the best we can do as a UNBS is encourage the uptake of the standards that we have developed. This will help address some of these challenges. And lastly, I can see, is it possible? This is from through UNBS to financial institutions, majorly banks, to train staff on these well-established circles. Okay? If you get the circles, some of them have very poor customer care. It is okay for us. We are available to help handle this. Just create a platform. Thank you so much. Asha?
Yes, please, I'm here.
I believe I've answered all the questions, all the concerns, though there's a hand still up from Job Nomanya. Yes?
Yes, Job.
This is Chimera. I was, has anybody asked you how standards are developed?
That I explained in the beginning. I believe you understood. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a question here that how can consent engage the government? So that's an upcoming engagement in this area, sealed by consent, and so many other initiatives are being proposed. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Daniel. I trust I missed out when I got into areas that there was no network, but I trust we have all benefited.
Hello.
So colleagues,
Hello.
Colleagues, let's keep on track, and we get to know new things. Push a number of things so that we can go back and sensitize consumers on their respective rights and to ensure that consumer protection is enhanced. So I would like to thank you very, very much, Bernard. Get off network, but I would further request engage and register so that we continuously engage and we empower each other. Media engagement, participation benefits consumers in that as your ears, you're the mouth, and the voice of consumers, there is a lot that consumers can benefit when you speak out. So continuously do that. And I would love to read your articles. I would love to listen to your news reports, audios, promote the consumer empowerment and engagement. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chimera. We don't have more.
Thank you, Consent.
I think no one has any question to Daniel before he leaves. Are all your concerns addressed or issues? Have they all been? But we still have more engagements on such topics. So we'll keep engaging you, Mr. Bakulu.
Yeah, Asha, I had forgotten on the 30th of this month, we will be engaging you. Those who are in Kampala area will be
Sharing
invited.
this.
We will our digital finance engagement and the release of our consumer protection and consumer complaints report. So, block
Hello. Hello. Thank you very much for the presentation. Maybe I will wait in next. I don't know whether I have been having some concern when I'm doing my program. Some people